Ate waraji. Beckham, crude, leather. You are saying something. When I drink, I look like what?
Become like a lion.
I do what? I become like a lion. At my rate of drinking, I would take 2 crates. I would finish it. Actually, me, what controlled my drinking was sleep. If I'm sleeping, I'm not drinking. If I've woken up, the first thing that rings into my mind is to go and drink.
A beer after work to relax, a cup of tonto at a kwanjula, a small jerrycan of waraji at a funeral. Alcohol is part of us. It is in our lives. It is part of our culture, and so we forget that it can become addictive. In Uganda, it is a sport, and right now we are sprinting at number 2 in Africa.
Our senior 6 vacation, we got together, we teamed up, and that was disaster. The excitement of finishing secondary school, for my case, of course, after a lot of hassles, being sent out of school here and there, I think there was an element of growing up, being young. We actually never knew what we were going into. And we picked up on drinking so much. And every time we were together with Ola, I can assure you, during that time, everyone, we stay in a center called Lacho. That is where our home is. And I could say we could terrorize all the bars in that small trading center.
Like many of us, Ola was drinking for fun until it became a habit that catches up with him when he finally enrolls for a law degree at Makerere University.
It is from that time that his drinking from the university increased. He started to be unreliable. Though I managed to fulfill what he wanted, but still, he started to be unsettled. Drinking. You see, the father also was somebody who thought if somebody had gone to the university, there was no need to follow.
Okay.
So he was all the time relying on me. Anytime he's in problem, he would come to me.
Initially, I had specialized my subject of alcohol that I take. I used to take beer and marwa. Marwa, this one where they use straws, long straws. They were my favorite. My favorite beer was Nile beer. And I used to like Nile so much because at the time, my brother was the quality controller of Nile breweries. So I had access to beer. Anytime I want beer, I would just go in the house. He would bring beers there. Or at times I go to the factory where a bottle of beer there at that time was 300 shillings. So if you have 5,000, how much beer would you have? Would you take? So at the same time, I had friends I would move with. And you know, our per capita consumption of alcohol was so high. And I remember I used not to eat. Because one thing is that alcoholics have very little interest in food. It is called senior staff canteen. So I would come here with a group of friends from the various halls, Lumumba Hall, Mitchell Hall, Livingstone Hall, Kruma, Sibirwa, formerly known as North Court. We would converge here and drink. And then after here, we would go to drink in other places. Sometimes we would get credit, depending on how much we would have drunk. The manager would have some kind of waiver and say, okay, fine. since you have supported me here today, let me give you some favor.
From bar to bar, Ola exhausts his savings on alcohol, and later, to sustain his habit, Ola becomes a staunch businessman.
I used to write courseworks for people. So these people would pay me money and I would use that money to facilitate my drinking. So that also wasn't, because I used to get money. Many people would come and I would write, I would help them, and they would pay me money. So in the process, I would use that money for self-destruction. And at the same time, because I saw that there was an economic value in doing some of these courseworks, academic research for other people, I would put little attention towards my own academic pursuit. Because then, I had envisaged that there was no economic value in it. So I was thinking in the reverse. I was giving more value to other people than myself. I was neglecting myself.
They say you cannot have your cake and eat it. Ola tries to defy the rules but fails. Somehow, a drinking habit and a low degree just can't work together.
He was here in 2000, in first year.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think he completed first year. At the end of first year is when he started over drinking. And in second year, he couldn't continue because he was not only a nuisance to the class, to the lecturers or administration. He became a total mess to everybody. Ola would come and disperse all the students from the class, abusing them, very awkward languages, including the lecturers. He wouldn't respect anybody, especially girls. He would abuse them physically. He wants always to harm them. It was a very bad scenario. And at times we would even involve the police to remove him.
Every time I would go to visit him, I would look for him for some 2-3 days before I get him. I decided to find one of the lecturer. The lecturer was very good. Said, but where have you been all this time? If you want to find Samuel, go in Gill Canteen. And when I went there, I found him there, very drunk and talking his politic.
Naturally, as a father, realizing the fact that this is a very intelligent boy who could to do much better and have a better position in life, I was very, very, very disappointed, very, very unhappy. Although I was angry and a little bit aggressive, but I didn't use any force.
I met him here at law school. That is 2000. He was ahead of me by 3-4 years, I think. But I was so disturbed when I met him in the status. He was in second year by then. I mean, he was in second year by then. So I was so disturbed by his action. The guy was so bright. He could narrate. He doesn't have to look for words. You know, he naturally speaks. He's naturally a lawyer. But that was defeated. The whole essence of becoming a lawyer was defeated by alcoholism. And that was not his intention.
Tired of Ola's drinking and unruly behavior, the then Dean of Law Faculty, Dr. Sylvia Tamale, recommends some time in rehabilitation.
I was in Serenity Center for 6 months. After spending 6 months, a lot of money was spent on me. About 7 million. Because at that time we were paying 50,000 per day. So while in Serenity Center, I emerged to be one of the best clients responding to the sobering element.
On a few occasions, I was in rehabilitation centers. He was also in rehabilitation centers, mental units. Sometimes we would find ourselves together in these places.
Fighting against alcohol in Uganda is to fight against a lot of households and their livelihood. Even when one is on the path to recovery, the unregulated Waraji manufacturers, the 24/7 open bars, and outstanding alcohol billboards make drinking part of the Ugandan daily life.
After Serenity Center, I came out. When I came out, I went back to school. I was at the law school. I was comfortable. I stayed sober for about 3 months. But later on, the issue of peer influence stepped in. The whole group, after realizing that I was around, they came looking for me.
Oh yes, there was a year, I recalled. We went back, I reinstated him back to start his law. But my dear, the drinking was so much.
So after rehabilitation, he came back. But then he slid back to drinking. And there they couldn't tolerate him anymore. They had to allow him to go.
Life is full of ups and downs, but the fall still takes a toll on you.
The relationship was not very well because when he is drunk, he would not listen to anybody. We used to, I think there was a time we brought him home here. We wanted him to stay home with the family, but he would sneak and go away to drink.
I just went to some bar and just started drinking without money. I knew I didn't have money. My thoughts were that maybe I would drink and then other issues will come after I'm drunk. We will sort it when I'm drunk, maybe. So after drinking, the waitress became tough. So I decided to fight the waitress and I left and I ran away.
You see, when they go to the bar, all the people he finds around would order for them. Even he was doing it in Kampala there. I paid a lot of bill in bars of people.
At rock bottom, Ola is oblivious to the fact and proceeds to dig for water in a drinking spree with friends.
I started becoming angry with myself. Depression set in. There was war going in northern Uganda. So I started becoming miserable, worrisome. I would get some stress disorders. Sometimes I would think maybe they have killed my mother, who is there in the village. I would get funny dreams, because I was having what they call, the scientists call hallucination. I was having a long-term hallucination because I used to drink heavily. Sometimes I would even wake up and I would not sleep. I would stay awake the whole night. So because of that, I thought I would rather get back to drinking. And indeed, I went back. Now, when I went back to drinking, I became worse than I was.
When you look at some of the signs of someone who is an addict, one, it is drinking or using those substances every day, maybe thrice or maybe more than maybe like 4 times in a week. Then 2, experiencing what we call the withdrawal symptoms when he doesn't drink or when he stops drinking or he reduces on the amount of alcohol or substances he takes every day. Okay, some of the withdrawals, it is reduced sleep or maybe what we call late insomnia. Then some experience hallucinations like hearing voices. Then some experience visual hallucinations, that is seeing some animals, seeing some the dead bodies, some strange things. Okay. Then even there is the reduced appetite for food. You find someone is not having appetite for food. The only appetite is having it is for drinking. Then others experience constipation, depending on the kind of drug he has been using. Others experience diarrhea. Then others experience headache. Others experience, tremors, that is body shaking. Then most of them, they experience, the urge to drink, what we call the craving. Okay, those are what we call the withdrawal symptoms. Okay.
Gunfire, loss, fear. These are the things that governed Gulu town for decades. But even with the insecurity, Oola'S parents keep him safe and endeavor to give him the best in life.
Well, I think during this insurgency, nobody would bother about what is going on in any family. When he used to go drinking in a bar, the owner of the bar would come demanding for money. And if you don't pay, you are a problem. They would abuse you, you're stupid with your son. Comes, we shall kill him. Sometimes they would threaten to, I don't know whether from here it was, his trousers were removed and left naked. I think that one, happened in Kampala. From here, I cannot remember. You see? I was so concerned. I used to pay their bill, all. If I don't have money, I would say, please, by this time I shall be paying you. Don't worry. So I don't have the bill of any of them. Even Kampala, I was paying bill for Samuel. When I used to go, they are all there, waiting. But you see, I think he was liked so much. He got so many people who would contact me, especially when he's so badly off. When I used to go to him, no, there was a time when he was so badly off now. He was very lonely. Very early he would go to Wendageya. I met him in Wendageya in one of the bar with some wounds on his forehead. It was a shock to find him in that manner. But I got him, took him to a hotel, gave him some food to eat. Then, I don't remember how we ended. He never wanted to take me where he stays. So, he told me, give me money. Give me money. He never wanted me to know where he's staying. He would shout at me, you can go. You're useless. Why do you come to me? Denying me. And he would also talk very badly of me. In fact, he had lost love for us all. He didn't care about us.
What made you go on supporting him like that?
You see, he was a child who was so lovely. And all the time I would think of, if I lose him, especially when he was drinking so much, I would imagine one day hearing that he's been killed. So I never wanted that to happen. And I pray for him so much. Every day, I'm praying for him.
With Oola'S intellect, he could have become one of the best legal minds this country has ever seen. He might have gotten into politics, and he could even have become president. But 15 years down the drain, we might never know.
It has delayed my process of academic accomplishment. But nevertheless, I'm not discouraged. I think the level of intelligence and wisdom that God gave me is still there. God has not taken it away. I'm reliably informed that God does not retrieve what He has given.
Was born a very brilliant child. Actually, I would say the most intelligent child in their family. I have 9 children. A good number of them have already qualified. We have over 5 degrees in the home, and we would want Samuel to be like them. Because if you abandon him like that, when we die, he may be in a terrible situation. I want him to get qualified, to also to succeed and be like the others.
So I need to work on my sobriety, being sober.
then I am hopeful that I can regain all that I've lost.
With all his struggles, Ola has been able to finish a development studies degree from Makerere University and has not lost hope of pursuing his dream of becoming a lawyer.